Whatever the situation was, if she wanted to move on with her life or she wanted to end the relationship with him, that should have been the end of it. It should not have been a situation where you got to take her life and then take your life, because now both families are destroyed forever here in the city of Jackson.
Thursday is nickel.
Destiny Stewart had one of those smiles people remembered, not because it was perfect, but because it was real. Her friends say she lit up every room she walked into. She wasn't famous, she wasn't rich, but she mattered to her family, to her patients, and to the small world she was trying to build for herself. She worked as a nursing assistant in Jackson, Mississippi. The job wasn't easy, long hours, low pay, but she showed up day after day because it meant something to her. Helping others gave her a kind of purpose. Her uniform smelled like lavender from the body sprays she sold on the side. Her co-workers said she had plans, big ones. Go back to school, maybe become an RN. She was only 20, but she talked like she knew where she was going. Then, one Friday, the news hit. There'd been a shooting outside the nursing home. A young woman had been shot in the head. Her name? Destiny Stewart. The headlines were short. The facts were cold. But behind them was a girl who had just posted about her favorite TV show the night before. A girl who still had dishes in her sink. A girl who had no idea her last good morning would really be her last. By the next day, she was gone.
Thursday is nickel.
She had so much ahead of her, dreams that reached past her city, a heart big enough to carry others, but sometimes it's the ones we carry that end up pulling us under. This isn't just about destiny, it's about the quiet warnings, so many. Ignore, the way love turns into control, and control turns into silence. What happened next wasn't sudden, it was slow, painful, and avoidable. And it's time we talk about it. Please wait, don't scroll past. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and watch this video to the end, because the more we tell these stories, the fewer names we'll have to mourn.
This shit, man. Wow, that's true. Yeah, I just hear they ain't leave us with no property. Nothing. They ain't brought us no motherfucking property in 7, 8 months. You see what I'm saying? Then they leave us with motherfucking blankets. They leave us with a pile of blankets instead of any clothes. They ain't got no socks.
Destiny Stewart was raised in Jackson, Mississippi, in a family that believed in staying close, checking in, and showing up for one another. Her father had passed not long before, and even though that loss hit her hard, she didn't stop. She was the kind of girl who held things together, for herself and for the people around her. She worked at Pine Forest Health and Rehabilitation, a place where most people didn't last long. The shifts were tough, the stories were heavier than the bodies she lifted, but Destiny kept going. She didn't complain much. She wiped faces, took pulses, and brought smiles to patients who didn't always remember her name. She made them feel seen. That was enough for her. Outside of work, she stayed focused. She'd just earned her certification as a nursing assistant. That was step 1. Step 2 was going back to school, maybe to become a nurse, maybe even more. She had dreams of a better life, a car in her name, a house, a family someday. But first, stability. That was the word she kept coming back to. She wanted peace. Her Facebook told pieces of that story, quick posts, shared quotes, selfies in her uniform. A girl who had been through things, but still found reasons to hope. She was proud of herself, even if she didn't say it out loud. She had come a long way. She had plans to go further, but Destiny never got the chance to finish what she started. Samuel, Coleman didn't walk into Destiny's life. He was mailed in. They met while he was in prison. It started with letters, maybe a phone call here and there. To most people, he was just another inmate, but to Destiny, he was someone who needed a chance. Someone who had been through things. Someone who, maybe, could be different. Samuel had a record. Not a mistake, but a pattern. Arrests, gang ties, the kind of trouble that didn't happen once. He was in and out of the system, and even inside he found ways to keep chaos close. Posting videos on contraband phones, complaining about prison conditions like he hadn't put himself there. He wasn't planning a comeback. He was just playing the game the only way he knew how. Fast talk, borrowed charm, and promises he couldn't keep. Destiny saw past all of that. Or maybe she refused to look. Her father had died, and grief changes people. It makes you reach for things that feel steady even when they're not. Maybe she thought she could fix him. Maybe she believed in the soft parts he only showed her. Whatever the reason, she gave him her time, her energy, and eventually her heart. She didn't just write letters, she made plans. She started shaping her life around a man she barely knew outside the walls. She told herself it was real. That love could turn things around, that loyalty would be enough. But what she didn't know was that Samuel wasn't looking to grow. He wasn't looking for a future. He was looking for a foothold. And Destiny, with her open heart and big hopes, gave him one. What started as letters became phone calls. Then came the day Samuel got out. It was June 2024. Destiny didn't make a big announcement at first. Maybe she was still unsure, still testing the waters. But by fall, the truth was public. Photos started showing up. In the car, in hotel rooms, at the mall. His arm around her waist, her head on his shoulder, selfies with matching filters and heart captions. In October, their Facebook pages made it clear they were official. By November, they were engaged. By January, they were married. 6 months, from pen pal to husband. It looked like love to people on the outside, but love doesn't always tell the whole story. Not when it's dressed up for the internet. There were posts calling him her best friend, her soulmate, her peace, a tribute to their growth together. One caption read, "Thank God for blessing me with such an amazing human being." To Destiny, it was real. It had to be. She'd already invested her time, her reputation, her heart. She defended him in comments, laughed off the questions, brushed aside the warnings. But they came anyway, from friends, co-workers, people who remembered what she used to be like, focused, independent, joyful. Now she looked tired, quiet, more guarded, her family worried. Some tried to talk to her, others stepped back, not wanting to push too hard, but people saw it, the speed, the changes, the red flags. Destiny called it loyalty. Everyone else called it what it was, a girl who moved too fast for a man who was never ready. And by the time the cracks started to show, it was already too late to slow down. The problems didn't come all at once. They came slow, quiet, like dust settling until everything was covered in it. Samuel didn't yell in public. He didn't leave bruises anyone could see, but his control showed up in other ways. Small things at first, wanting to know where she was, who she talked to, why she didn't answer fast enough. Then it became constant. Check-ins that felt more like surveillance. Questions that weren't really questions. More like tests she had to pass to keep the peace. He didn't want her going out much. He didn't like her friends. He said they talked too much, judged too much. He made her feel like the world was against them, like it was them too against everybody. And Destiny believed it. She stopped picking up some calls. She missed a cousin's birthday dinner. She said she was tired, said work was draining her. But everyone knew better. The girl who used to post funny work stories and selfies in her scrubs now only posted about her man. Long captions, forced smiles, like she was trying to prove something, maybe to them, maybe to herself. When people asked if she was okay, she said she was blessed. When they asked if things were moving too fast, she'd shrug and say, You can't put a timeline on love. But behind the quotes and Facebook filters, her shine started fading. Even at work, she seemed more withdrawn, quieter. Her energy shifted. She didn't complain out loud, but her eyes said things her mouth didn't. People saw it. But destiny kept protecting him, even when it was clear he was the one she needed protecting from. She didn't see the red flags as danger. She saw them as problems love could fix. But some problems aren't meant to be fixed. Some are warnings, and she missed them all. By March, Destiny had reached her limit. The marriage wasn't working. The man she'd hoped would grow hadn't changed. He still had no job, no direction. The pressure she carried alone was getting heavier. Friends said she started pulling back, not just from him, but from everything. At some point, she made her decision. Quietly, with no big announcement, she told him it was over. That should have been the end, but men like Samuel Coleman don't handle rejection, especially not when the woman walking away is the one who made his life possible outside prison. In his mind, if she wasn't going to love him, she didn't deserve to leave him. In the early hours of Friday, March 24th, he went to her job, Pine Forest Health and Rehabilitation in Jackson. Destiny was just starting her shift. She was outside the building, maybe walking in, maybe taking a breath before the day began. Samuel showed up, angry, armed. He walked up behind her and shot her once in the head. Then he walked back to his car, sat there for a moment, and turned the gun on himself. When police arrived, both were still alive, barely. They were rushed to the hospital and placed on life support. But the damage was done. By the next day, they were both gone. Destiny Stewart was just 20 years old. Jackson Police Chief Joseph Wade called it exactly what it was, a murder-suicide. He said it could have been prevented. He said what most were thinking. If she wanted to move on, that should have been the end of it. You don't get to take her life just because she walked away. Outside the nursing home, yellow tape lined the lot where she used to walk in with her ID badge and lunch bag. Now it was a crime scene. The same place where she helped people recover became the place where her story ended. And once again, two families were left shattered. One burying their daughter, the other burying their shame.
Went to her job and confronted her. No one inside that facility was harmed. 3 on your side's Rosalind Anderson has the latest from Jackson Police. Rosalind?
2 families are now left devastated after Jackson Police responded to gunfire at the Forest Avenue nursing home. According to Jackson Police, the murder-suicide occurred around at Pine Forest Health and Rehabilitation. 20-year-old Destiny Deja Stewart was shot once in the head in the parking lot of the nursing home. Police say 29-year-old Samuel Coleman argued with Stewart before opening fire. Investigators say Coleman then went to his car and shot himself. Stewart was a certified nursing assistant at the facility. Both were transported to a local hospital where they were taken off life support Saturday.
Whatever the situation.
The news spread fast through Jackson, first as a headline, then as a name, then as a face. Destiny Stewart was gone. At Pine Forest Health and Rehabilitation, her co-workers couldn't believe it. Some of them had just spoken to her the day before. She had plans to switch shifts next week. She had joked about bringing breakfast Friday morning. Now her name was being whispered in shock behind nurses' stations. Her locker still full, her schedule still posted. Outside the building, candles started appearing, notes, balloons, her favorite body spray, a laminated photo of her in scrubs, smiling like she always did. Patients who could barely remember their own names asked where she was. One asked if Destiny had gone to heaven. A nurse wiped her tears and just nodded. Her family stayed quiet. At first, grief that loud doesn't always come with words. Her sister posted a photo of the two of them from a summer cookout. No caption, just a broken heart emoji. Friends filled the comments, "This don't feel real." She didn't deserve this. Community groups in Jackson lit candles. Domestic violence advocates called for change. Again, Some reminded people that this wasn't rare, that too many women are dying like this, killed not by strangers, but by the men they once trusted. People said destiny was too kind, too loyal, too forgiving. But none of those things should have cost her her life. At the next staff meeting, her name was read out loud. Some people couldn't sit through it. Others held hands.
And for
The chair she always
a
sat
man
in
who
stayed
brought nothing
empty.
but chaos.
It still
Whatever
is.
the situation was, if she wanted to move on with her life or she wanted to end the relationship with him, that should have been the end of it. It should not have been a situation where you got to take her life and then take your life, because now both families are destroyed forever here in the city.
Destiny Stewart wasn't the first woman to be killed by someone who claimed to love her, and she won't be the last. Not if nothing changes. Every year, thousands of women in the United States lose their lives to men they once trusted. In fact, more than half of all female homicide victims are killed by a current or former intimate partner. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. The red flags are often there: jealousy, control, isolation, threats disguised as passion. But too often those signs are brushed off, labeled as toxic, but never treated as dangerous. Until it's too late. Destiny's story isn't just a tragedy. It's a mirror. It reflects how fast love can turn into control, how charm can become manipulation, how silence can become a death sentence. She wasn't weak. She wasn't naive. She was human. She wanted to believe that someone could change. She wanted to love hard and be loved back. That shouldn't be a death sentence. For those in similar situations, there is help. Organizations like the National Domestic Violence Hotline offer free 24/7 support. Confidential, judgment-free. You can call 1-800-799-SAFE 7233 or text START to 88788. If someone you know is pulling away, if they seem afraid, or if something feels off, ask them, support them. Sometimes a simple check-in can interrupt something much darker. Destiny's name should be a lesson, not a hashtag, because every "he wouldn't hurt me" can turn into "he did." And every "but he said sorry" can become "he never got the chance to say it again." Destiny Stewart didn't die because she was weak. She died because someone believed her life belonged to him. That's not love, that's possession. And it happens every day, in quiet homes and public places, to women who thought love could save someone who never planned to change. If you see the signs, the control, the fear, the slow disappearance of joy, don't wait. Don't explain it away. Don't hope it'll get better. The earlier you act, the more life you protect, maybe your own. Support the people who are still trying to leave. Believe them, stand with them, and support the groups doing the work. The shelters, the hotlines, the counselors, the ones who show up when it matters most. Destiny's life was short, but it mattered. She tried to love someone whole. She shouldn't have died for it. Let her name be a reminder. Your peace is worth more than any promise. Your safety is not up for negotiation, and real love never asks you to disappear to keep it. May Destiny Stewart be remembered, and may fewer women follow her path. Destiny Stewart didn't just lose her life, she lost her future. Her family lost their light, and the world lost a woman who could have done so much more if only she'd been protected, believed, and told that love doesn't have to hurt. If her story felt familiar to you, it's because it happens too often, but it doesn't have to stay that way. You can speak up, you can leave, you can help someone else leave, you can choose peace, you can choose life. Let her story be a line drawn in the sand, where we stop making excuses for broken love and start saving lives. If this story moved you, don't scroll past. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, because the more we tell these stories, the fewer names we'll have to mourn. Subscribe now and help us turn tragedy into truth, and truth into action.